Hello everybody, welcome back to the Trafford Talk podcast. This is episode 2. Now we'll be talking about the upcoming week for Manchester United. We'll be talking about a lot of things. Andre Onana, there'll be a lot of topics discussed in this podcast. So yeah, lock in, stay tuned, and yeah, let's get straight into it. So the first thing I want to discuss is the Andre Onana apology. Now for me, he's been our most improved, like our best signing. That's improved this summer for me. I think he came in with a lot of criticism on him. I think £47 million is what we signed him. And many Manchester United fans didn't believe that he would be a success. Now, for me, I've always backed him. I think he's a goalkeeper with a lot of potential. And yes, he's had his bad performances, but for me, I think he's settled well in the Premier League. He's done really, really well. The quality that he's shown in the games, he's starting to improve now. With Andre Onana, he did take him a few months to settle into the league. But he's done really, really well. He's improved on his performances, kept his head down, worked hard, and particularly since coming back from AFCON, he's done really, really well. I think he's continued to show momentum and improvability. I think in the last few games, he has been unfortunate to concede a lot of goals. Was it 3 against City, 2 against Fulham? And I think the game against Everton was a testament to him. He made some good saves and kept a clean sheet. I don't think many people knew, but he is actually joint second with most clean sheets in the league. I think him and Pickford have no, Pickford won't now. I think he has a bit more than Pickford. So he is moving like a really, really good goalkeeper, and he is showing for me what we wanted to replace David De Gea with, and certainly what Erik Ten Hag wanted to do. He wanted to bring in a more modern player who can play out, a goalkeeper that can play out from the back, and certainly he can do that. He's more composed, and as I said, he found it difficult. But many goalkeepers found it difficult to adapt straight away, and for me, he's done really, really well. And he is getting the plaudits he now deserves. I think he deserves an apology for me. I think, as I said, as he came in, a lot of pundits were talking about him. He's not good with his feet. He's making a lot of mistakes. He plays a high line. He's not going to suit the Premier League. And for me, he's proved them all wrong. I mean, when you look at a goalkeeper like Andre Onana, who's replacing a legend in the game, in De Gea, and a legend to Manchester United, he'd been at the club for 10 years. It's going to be very, very difficult to do that. And for me, he knew that was going to be hard. Any goalkeeper that would have came into Manchester United would have found it difficult to adapt. But for me, he has done really, really well. And yeah, it's not been easy. I think he can say that himself. He joined late in pre-season, found it difficult to implement. But he always knew under Erik Ten Hag he was going to start, and we can see the potential that he had in the Champions League. There's obviously still ways he can improve in his game for me. I think his distribution's been good, but it can be better. But yeah, let me know what you think of that. I think, as I said, for me, he's a contender for player of the season for us. I think he's been amazing to come in such late in the league. To come in to the Premier League within the season and do what he's done is absolutely amazing, and it is a true testament to him. And we know he's got a top mentality, a player who does find it tough. But yeah, he's done absolutely well. So yeah, credit to Andre Onana. He does deserve the plaudit, and he's been absolutely fantastic. I think for me, he's one of the players who's helped us this season. As I said, he might have conceded a lot of goals, but he continued to work hard. And yeah, he's been amazing. So yeah, that's the first thing I wanted to discuss. Now, obviously, the Everton overview now. It's not going to be too long, but I just thought I'd discuss it. I think the game against Everton are a team who are struggling in the league. Let's get that straight. They're a team who's not doing well. They're a relegation team, and it's the fact that Manchester United allowed team to dictate the tempo against them is the most worrying thing. We're at home. We should be, particularly in this game, we should be setting the tempo, and we should be the one setting the standard and make it difficult for them to play against us. We allowed Everton in this game to have an easy start. They targeted Casemiro, and he was really, really poor. I think some of the players, for me, individuals standed out, but some found it very, very difficult to implement the game. I think Casemiro certainly was one of them. He got locked off quite a few times today, and it did limit the time that he spent on the ball. I think what Everton also tried to do is hit us the counter-attack. I think we did really well with that defensively as well, and that's where Andre Onana's sweeping ability comes in. But yeah, overall, it wasn't the best of games for us, in my opinion. I think the performance that we put in this game was probably one that we needed. We just needed a clean sheet. We got 2 goals. And look, without the 2 penalty goals, we wouldn't have created anything against Everton. And that's something that's only sunk in now. I think watching all the reactions that's gone on in the media and stuff like that, it's made it evident, and watching the highlights again, that we didn't create many chances against them. Without the 2 penalties, we would have been struggling. And yes, Garnacho had a few which he could have done better with. But as a collective, we didn't do well at all. We didn't create enough chances for us in order for them to get higher goals, and we did only have like quite a few shots on target. Like it wasn't like we should have absolutely destroyed them. Like they did kind of signed out really well. They're a team who like to nick it high and then counter press from there. And I think Sean Dyche is a player who has them in a system. He signs the players that fits the system. I think what Manchester United have done, they signed a lot of players who don't fit the system, and that's the board's fault really. I think that we've struggled to sign players who fit our system and players who are gonna benefit us in the long run. We've signed players who are marquee signings, players who cost a lot of money, but not necessarily players who fit the system. So that is devastating, because you look at other players, other teams, Sean Dyche, they have, particularly Everton, they have their team in the formation. Our players don't look like they play together. They look very shape-shifted, like they don't have much chemistry. And it does actually wonder like what actually happens in training, because we actually don't know what we see, because we don't see much on the training pitch. And the quality isn't there on the pitch. We have found it difficult. There's no synergy there. And yeah, it is very worrying to see what happens. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about is the game next week now against Liverpool. Now, I did want to quickly discuss what's happening. It's a huge game for Manchester United. It's another chance for us to get some points under our belt. Well, not a point, sorry, to get a trophy under our belt. It's a huge game for Erik ten Hag. He knows the importance of that, and we have got some positives around the game with some players coming back. Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, and Højlund as well. So that's really, Højlund we've massively missed. Maguire we missed as well, and same too as Wan-Bissaka with that left back injury as well. Wan-Bissaka is probably the player we want back the most. It allows Delot to go over to that left back position, and that gives us some stability, because we know Malacia and Shaw are going to be out for the rest of the season. So having someone like Delot, who's played there before, comfortable with that position, will be absolutely amazing and vital to us, because he does offer a lot of stability, and he is a very good player technically as well. So yeah, that's really important. What does Højlund do for us? He does massive. I think Liverpool are a team who are very physical, and Højlund offers that ability. He's someone who can hold up the ball, get in behind. And then coming up against Van Dijk is going to be very difficult to do that. Liverpool are a team in top form, and they are gonna make it difficult for us. But the advantage that we have, we're at home. We've got players returning back from injury, and I do think we can certainly beat Liverpool now. It's looking very unlikely that we probably will. Liverpool are miles better than us, and they do play a better brand of football. But it's not impossible for us to win the game. It's certainly on the cards. It's all about how we time it well. I think, look, we've seen it. We can score goals. We definitely can do that. It's all about how clinical we are with our chances. We had certainly some in the game against Everton, which we didn't put away, and we didn't score, but we definitely can create them, and it's all about those moments that will impact us. As I said, it's Ten Hag's only chance to win a trophy, and if he does win the FA Cup, it probably gave Ineos no choice but not to sack him, to keep him at Manchester United. So it is a huge trophy for him, and a trophy that he certainly wants to win, because it's massive for his future. But yeah, overall, I think it's a trophy that it does hold a significance. It is a traditional trophy, and with Liverpool going for the quadruple, or the treble if you want to call it, we're not counting the Europa League. They've already won the Carabao Cup. It's looking like we need to stop them, and we have a huge opportunity to do that. We know Manchester City have already replicated our iconic treble. We don't want any other teams to do that. So it's all about what we can do in our hands and how we approach the game. Yes, as I said, as we get closer to it, and with the preview, I will discuss it more in depth. But it's all about setting up in a way, we don't want to be pragmatic, but setting up in a structured way where we know we can play against Liverpool. We beat them before, we beat them last season. How we can take it to them and give them a result in the game. But yeah, that's kind of the next week. It's a huge game. We've got to get players back, using Højlund, Maguire as well. We need some centre backs back. So it is a huge boost for us, and it's something that we need, because we can't afford to have players out injured. We need all the players we can get back, and we're gonna be needed for that. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about, this is probably the main chunk, new stadium development. Now, it's coming in for Manchester United. I think they put a statement out on Friday that Sir Jim has clear intentions to make a stadium. Now, it isn't an easy process. It's a process that's looking like it's going to take a few years. You got to get planning permission as well from the Manchester Trafford Council, which he's already working with the Mayor of Manchester, head people at infrastructure, people who know how to build things. Over a new stadium now. He wants to make it a 90,000 capacity stadium. kind of labelled as the Stadium of the North. He wants it to, oh sorry, the Wembley of the North, wants it to be one of the biggest stadiums in the UK, if not the biggest stadium. He's saying that there's no Camp Nou, there's no Wembley there's no Bernabeu in the UK, and that's something that he wants. He wants it to be a fortress where they can have big events and stuff, and that's something Manchester United missed on. Extra revenue from concerts and stuff that immediately bring up the attraction of Old Trafford and Manchester. Manchester's a great city to go to, where many people do go, and they are missing out on that fact. It gives them extra revenue, more popularity, and that's something, if the Glazers were smart enough, they probably would have done that, but we know how cheap they are. They don't want to invest, and this new stadium gives that opportunity. As I said, the idea of a Wembley of a North, 90 to 100,000 seats, is going to make it like the biggest stadium in the UK. And if you look at Old Trafford, we know it's a fortress, but it is rusting. But yeah, it does look positive from Sir Jim. I think the idea proposed to a new stadium was probably immediately turned down. Immediately turned down by some fans, but for me, it does look like the right way forward. I think it's a huge chance in the infrastructure for Manchester United. And listen, Old Trafford's been there since 1910, so it's got 124 years of history with some iconic moments happening there. You look at Rooney's bicycle kick, just to name a few. Numerous Premier Leagues won there by Sir Alex. Some fierce games as well. It's a fortress to go to, and a place that I've been privileged to go to. Now, if it was to get knocked down, then we would have to build a new stadium, and that is something to look forward to. I mean, a new stadium, new state-of-the-art, is going to cost probably £1 to £2 billion to build, which is something Sir Jim has looked at. He wants to invest into, and that is that's a positive for me. I think when you have an owner who's willing to invest that much money into a club, it shows the intention and the clear ambition that he wants Manchester United to be one of the best teams, or if not the best team in the world. Now, we know we're quite far away that on the pitch, but he's trying to do everything he can. He's trying to employ the people that will benefit us, the people that will have the infrastructure in place. You look at Omar Barada, CEOs worked at Manchester City. You look at Dan Ashworth, another certified CEO. So that he is trying to make steady progresses. But this new stadium thing, it seems like a great idea for me. But as I said, it's a long process. You've got to have permission where to build it and stuff like that. So it is a lot of logistics behind it. But for me, as I said, it seems like a new idea now. I want to know what the fans think about it. So leave your thoughts in the comments, because it is a very, very intriguing topic now. Obviously, I've been to some fans may have never been Old Trafford, and I've been lucky enough to go, 6-7 times. So it is a privilege to go there. But as I said, if you look at Old Trafford, it is rusting. The few times I've been, I've sat under like the kind of cover thing in the Sir Alex, the Sir Alex stand, and you can see it's rusting. It's got loads of dirt on it. The toilets are not to the highest ability, and it's not even modern either. We've got no screens or nothing in there, so it is lacking a lot of things. And that's one of the main things Sir Jim said when he wants to come in. He wants to make us the best. He's going to look to invest money into the training facilities, the ground. And that's something that we want to see, because we want to separate ourselves. Manchester United over the past few years have been nowhere near one of the best teams in the world, and we are slowly starting to do that, very, very slowly. So it is a priority of ours. It's something that we want and we need and we desire as Manchester United fans. So it is a huge development for us, this stadium. And yeah, that's really about it. I think, as I said, it is a controversial topic, but for me, there's no doubt. Why would you not want a new stadium when Sir Jim is looking to offer this? Why would you not say no? So yeah, that's kind of the new stadium talk. The next thing I wanted to discuss, so I've done the new stadium. Would you want a new stadium? Now, Casemiro is a player who's been getting a lot of stick. I'm not too sure if I already talked about him. This is the second draft of the pod, but his performance today did not help him at all. It is a... What was I going to say? Yeah, Casemiro's been getting a lot of stick for his performance, and there's definitely changes that need to be made regarding his future at Manchester United. He's certainly not been good enough, and I wouldn't be opposed selling him now. What happened with the future, we definitely need to bring in a new midfielder. So that's just something I wanted to make comment out. For the last, it's going to be a short one today, probably a 30-minute. For the last 10 to 15 minutes, the two things I wanted to discuss, Oh, what was it going to be? The potential of Alejandro Garnacho, I want to talk about that. And should we sign Johnny Evans on another year contract? So I'll start off with Johnny Evans, 1 year contract extension, yes or no. Now, this was a tweet that was on Twitter. I'll give you some of the replies. So someone said, yes, we're talking about rebuilding and you're bringing such thing out. We're tired of bargaining games. We want strong and solid defence for title and Champions League challenge. He's old, he should go. And then another one was, no, I please understand he's been available for us, but no. Of course, as long as we actually bring more defenders in. People cried about bringing him last year and he's done brilliantly. He was never signed to play the amount of games he has and he has done so very well. For next season centre-back, we should sell Maguire, resign Varane for another year, ideally on a lower contract, and add another year into Evans' deal. Sign a new starting centre-back who we want to form a long-term partnership with Martinez. Someone just said yes. Besides Rasmus, Johnny has been so solid and the best signing of the summer after Rasmus. So he is getting a lot of praise. Now, for me, Johnny Evans, we know he's a player. I probably look to be keeping him. I think he's not on probably that high wages. He's a decent player. I think he's been unfortunate with his time at Manchester United. He found it difficult to start. He was never meant to play for Manchester United. But he's done absolutely fantastically well. The quality that he's shown, particularly in the game yesterday against Everton, he was brilliant. The performances that he's been put in as well. So I would be I would be for putting him in. I think we have found it difficult to. I mean, what I'm trying to say is with Johnny Evans, if you can keep him and then sell Maguire or Lindelof and get 25-30 million for them, you can use that money on signing a Jean-Claude Todibo or someone else like that. So I certainly wouldn't be against it in that idea of things. But yeah, for me, Johnny Evans, he, as I said, is a mixed opinions, mixed bag of what should happen with him. But for me, I think he's deserved to stay at Manchester United. I think he's been quality, and as I said, he is someone who you should go. You would say that he's 36 years of age. But when he's playing like that, for me, they know the choice but to sell him. With Varane as well, another player, final year of his contract, got 3-4 months left. For me, should be staying at Manchester United. There's two centre backs I would let go would be Harry Maguire and Lindelof. And for me, Maguire's had a really good season, but for me, I think he's someone who we can most likely cash in on for the summer and bring in some money that allows us to buy Todibo. We need another centre back as well. Another idea is letting Malacia go, bring in another left back and move Shaw to left centre back, so that gives you extra cover. So there's a lot of there's a lot of things that would go on, but Manchester United definitely do need a defensive player, whether that's a left back or a centre back, or a left back and a centre back. We do need someone defensively, and we do need someone quickly who can outfill that void, because Martinez is picking up injuries. Varane, we know he can pick up injuries as well. So we need to have the best in class. I mean, you look at Manchester City; they have 4 or 5 world class quality defenders. You've got Diaz, Ake, Stones, Diaz, Stones, Ake, Akanji, Walker can play there. So they've got some world class quality players there, and Manchester United are missing out on that. We've got Johnny Evans, 36-year-old. We've got Varane, 30-year-old. Martinez, 25. He's pretty young. We've got Kambala, a young and up-and-coming option. So we are very limited. We've got Maguire, 31. Lindelof, I think, 30. So I think we need to get rid of 2 centre-backs and probably bring in 2. My ideal choices would be Lene Yoro and... I think it's named Lene Yoro and... and Todibo for me. I think they're 2 great players. Obviously, Branthwaite's an option as well. So there are certainly options Manchester United can bring in. And it's all about making that right decision, because for me, Martinez is the best option to have there at that left-sided player. So if you want to bring in a right player, I know Branthwaite's a left footer, so you can bring in someone else. But certainly that defensive structure does need a lot of support, because we are lacking in that department. The importance of that is necessary, and we do need to bring in another player that helps us support that. I think particularly the left-hand side, the left-back in particular, because the Ten Hag system, we know how important that left-footed player is and what that does for his playing system. So we need to make in the right players, and we need to bring in the right quality of players that will give us the asset that we need. And the final thing I wanted to discuss, Garnacho now. Real this season, he started 25 games on the bounce. He's been absolutely fantastic, and yes, in the last... excluding the Everton game before that, he hasn't scored any goals or many goals for us. But for me, he's been brilliant. At 19 years of age, doing what he's doing, it's absolutely fantastic. You look at him, ranking him, he's probably got to be top 10 wingers in the league. The potential that he has is scary. At 19 years of age, he's proving like he should be starting every game for Manchester United. He's dropping Rashford, who's an academy player, who's been at the club, or been in the first team particularly for like 7-8 years now. So it's all about Garnacho. I think he's improved as well massively. Erik ten Hag gave him a chance to come into the team, and he's taken that really, really well. As I said, we know how important he is for Manchester United. And again, in the Everton game, he picked up 2 assists. He should have got 2 goals as well. So he's constantly improving. With Garnacho, as I said, I want to see him take on his defender a bit more. Have a bit of confidence. And we know he is a confident player, but sometimes he does seem a bit pragmatic. The fact that he's gone over to that right hand side.